We are back. Welcome to I Jump Instead, and welcome to our very first Fit Model podcast, where we're going to talk about all things Fit Model. When the new division was announced, the Trophy Twins decided that we were going to compete for 2025 and possibly beyond. My name is Trophy Sally.
My name is Trophy Steffi.
And thank you so much for joining us. We are I Jump Instead. We started jumping back in 2016, but we started I Jump Instead in 2020 when we knew that we had a spark for creating routines, and we really wanted to create routines that would build our trophy bodies. And so then I Jump Instead took off, and now we have over 1,000 workouts here on this YouTube channel. And we also run a membership where we drop 6 brand new workouts, actually 5 brand new workouts every single week. And the workouts range from 20 to 50 minutes, and they are our latest and greatest workouts. And we're evolving by the week with our technique and with our skills and of course with our fitness. So those workouts are just constantly getting better and better. And we also don't like to be repetitive. We like to keep things fresh. So we're making new routines every week. And of course, all of the moves are pretty similar, but there's always a new move that pops in. And so we introduce that new move, and then we keep you working the same basic moves, which there's like 100 of them, I think. And so you also build your trophy body. And we know and we're confident with Jumping Instead consistently and daily that everyone will have their trophy body as soon as they start jumping and beyond, because of the health it's bringing into our bodies. And then with long-term jumping, with consistent jumping, the results are really beyond what we can even imagine them to be for ourselves, especially if we have our diet in check. So I think this Fit Model endeavor is for us to really challenge ourselves to get our diet to the point where now we can really see the trophy bodies that we have built with Jumping Instead. And so we're really excited because we are really into diet, and we have been on social media doing diet content here and there since 2020, but it has been a little bit challenging to stay consistent with it because we were constantly evolving and learning what we wanted to be eating for ourselves. And it's hard to coach others to do the same, because the truth is that we didn't really have our stability with how we wanted to stay consistent with our diet until now. Even so, we're still fine tuning our way all the way to the stage. So it's exciting to talk about, because this is like having the Fit Model stage date is putting this in real time, and it's getting us to not, get off track. We have to stay on track. We're 7 weeks out. And we're excited to bring you along with these podcasts that we want to stick with at least every week or every 2 weeks. And so we can keep you up to date, answer questions, and tell you about what's going on with our diet and then with jumping and all things. Any question you have, we would love to answer. So if you're not live with us right now, please ask any question that comes to mind during this podcast down in the comment section, and we will answer it in our next podcast. So thank you so much for being here. How are you, Trophy Steffi?
I'm doing so great. Thank you for introducing the video. And I just wanted to say that our first show is going to be March 29th, 2025. And that is going to be in Vancouver, Washington. And what an amazing and exciting endeavor to be on the journey of really just a presentation on the stage, of getting up onto a professional stage. It's professional, it's created for fitness enthusiasts, for bodybuilders to present the muscles that they have built in the gym or in any sort of other fitness regimen. I think that Fit Model gives us an opportunity to present something new, and it's so exciting because presenting a body on stage is so different than we might expect, and it's really an art, and it's they really want something they want it done very specifically, and it's exciting to be able to learn such a beautiful dance or a flow of presentation on the stage, and then we get to also dazzle ourselves up with hair and makeup and the a swimsuit and 5-inch heels and all the things. So it's really exactly what we've always dreamed of, is to be able to to get on a stage and perform, but to present our physiques is exciting, and it's going to be so fun, and it really feels like something that aligns with us and who we are, and it's going to be so exciting. We want to work together as a team, obviously, helping each other when we get on that stage or before we get on that stage, but also we want to complement the suits that we bring to the stage. We want to complement each other with the color choices that we make, and it's just going to be so fun to be able to stick with it if that's if that ends up being the outcome of this experiment and journey, and to be able to travel the country and maybe even the world to present this, to keep presenting the physiques on stages and just have it be fun and exciting. And sure, we want to be competitive, and sure, we want to bring our best and do well, but it really does come down to just having fun and showcasing what jumping has built for us. And you were talking about jumping and exactly how our journey started, and we started creating routines, and we got really familiar with the muscles and how the muscles really respond to certain moves, and we've discovered and determined that the resistance coming from the rebounder that we use is really important and plays a crucial role with increasing chances of muscle and increasing actual muscle response, because there are certain elements to building a body when jumping, because we could just do like a baby bounce, and that doesn't necessarily build extraordinary muscle. There are strategies that we implement, and I'll just tell you real quick: isometrics, flexing or squeezing the muscles while we jump, and lengthening the muscles. But it really is that down bounce that plays like it's like the third out of the three main factors with building muscle. It's the isometrics, the stretching, and then that resistance mat, the down bounce, and really pulling and tugging on our stretching and our flexing. And so being able to really feel the muscles building and create new ways to perform the moves in order to manipulate more muscle development. And that's been what our journey as instructors and creators. And it's so exciting to not only present on the stage, but then to keep growing, keep evolving, and fine tune and see how we can continue to build and shape our bodies, all from the comfort of our home, in our own privacy, no matter what the weather is outside. It feels like she and I could have never, ever, ever gotten fit like we are if we had to go outside, or, just going out the front door. If we had to go out the front door, whether that be going to the gym or riding a bike, or, going to yoga, or, if we had a weight set in the home, I still think it wouldn't have been possible, because what jumping really did is it built our bodies, comprehensively. Like the whole body started strengthening all together. And so it was easy world. It was like we were feeling like, oh yeah, the whole body is stronger and stronger and stronger. Jumping really revealed weaknesses as well. And we got through those weaknesses, and now the fitness is just exponential. Like the fitness, increases are exponential, and it's all about it's all about sustainability and being consistent. And so jumping has really made this possible for us. And we're so excited to share jumping with, more people, potentially with the bodybuilding community, and our diet as well. Let's talk about diet.
Yeah, because mentioning everything that you just said made me think about how it's not just a physical journey, but it's also a mental journey. And then, of course, our diet plays an extremely important role in how consistent we are, and then how healthy we are, because man, have we gone down the diet rabbit hole and figured out what works best for us, but we've definitely gone down roads that have not been the best for us. And what we've concluded is when we meet our nutritional needs, we really do perform at baseline and above. And I say baseline being what is possible to even achieve health and strength. If we're below baseline, we really can't even hit a baseline of health and strength. We have to meet our needs with our nutrition. And so it's been a really interesting journey of learning because of what we grew up believing about calories in, calories out, and then finding the diet that we currently follow, which is a starch-based diet, and then having to switch our belief system into believing in carbohydrates and believing in starches and believing what they do for our bodies. It's been awesome. It's been really crazy too, because the results that we've gotten as soon as we adapted to starches and to carbohydrates physically and mentally have been profound. We have literally transformed. We're 180 pounds at one point, and we have lost 55 to 60 pounds. We're in that range of weight loss. And so we wanted this from the start. We wanted to be our absolute trimmest, leanest selves with a foundation of muscle, and Jumping Instead made it possible, as well as our starch-based diet. And so much to talk about. Let's go ahead and say hi to everyone that's here live with us.
Abigail, hello. Where did your original workouts routines go? You might be talking about the programs on our website. They are on the website. If you do the 3-bar tab, or just go up to one of the bar tabs up on top, and you can go to workout videos, and you can find those there. And can you drop weight just by eating starch and not adding vegetables in a huge amount? We are going to talk about that, because it comes down to meeting nutrient needs. Carbohydrates digest at such a different, well, not such a different rate, but they digest at a different rate than proteins and fats. So understanding and getting to know the starch quantities so we can eat enough and not put in more than we need, like significantly more than we need, and then having it come in at a rate that the body requests and requires, because it's just a whole new learning curve. So yes, we definitely can drop weight by reducing, or mostly reducing, fruits and vegetables and just focusing on starches. And it's a learning curve, because fruits and vegetables are healthy. They provide bulk in the stomach. They provide nourishment and nutrients and minerals. And we do want to have some, but definitely loss can happen when we limit them, even when we limit them.
But I want to say that the jumping helps us to keep our metabolism strong, keep the digestion moving, especially when we're adapting to eating predominantly starches, and we want to, eventually get to a point where we don't have to depend on lots of vegetables in order to lose weight. We want to depend on our metabolism. We want to depend on our digestive speed. We want to depend on stored glycogen being efficiently stored in our muscles, and then we use that stored glycogen and then we replenish it, and our body isn't necessarily depending on the fat that we have stored in our body for energy, because if it is, it will store it so that it has it because it's dependent on it. But if we're actually we've learned how to increase our metabolism and eat mindfully and jump often, then we start to work in our stored glycogen window and then deplete, and our metabolism starts to just burn the body fat that we have in our body that it no longer serves us and serves a purpose. And there really isn't anything happening in the body that's scary, because I think that in order to lose body fat, we really do have to kind of master manipulate our way into that, because if we lose it by putting ourselves into a deficit or increasing vegetables to a too much of an amount, we will gain it back as soon as we start eating the foods that we stopped eating temporarily, or as soon as we stop eating as many vegetables. So we're setting ourselves up for a rebound. But if we fuel our body, fuel our metabolism, and then we stay on our jumpers as often as we can through the week. I don't want to say through the day, through the week, so that we're constantly getting that pumping in our digestion, and then the strengthening of our metabolisms through cardiovascular fitness
And hydration.
through muscle strengthening, through resistance training, and then through hydration. So everything is moving through at a fast rate. Then we can have that metabolism to depend on. And this is when we really earn our freedom lean body, because now we can set ourselves up for taking time off if we want, and our metabolisms will take care of any inflammation or water retention or even fat gain that may happen if we want to take a week vacation.
And all the food we have to eat is, potentially coming from the cruise ship or,
We
from the all-inclusive hotel, because we can't always bring all our food.
Right.
So it is really nice to have that really strong metabolism and to be able to bring our rebounder with us. Hi, Cellerciser.
Absolutely.
How are you?
And so we really do want to prioritize our fitness. And so, as you know, she and I really encourage nose breathing only, and also mostly low to moderate intensity training, just because we keep those stress hormones down, and so we can really build up our fitness. And then you'll know when you're in a workout and your energy is soaring that you can take it to that threshold where you are still nose breathing, but you're pushing, and it will feel good. You're going to get a buzz from it. It's like going out and driving 80 miles an hour. You only do it so often, but when you do it, you get a little high from it. And then the rest of the month, you really are honoring a lower intensity, lower to moderate intensity pace, because that's normal life. That's normal training. That's normal driving. And that's what really builds up the metabolism. Those rare speed days where you're going super high intensity, keep those to a minimum so that your hormones are balanced, so that you stay more consistent, so that you don't drive up your hunger, because especially too, if you're eating more vegetables, you're going to get yourself into a super deficit because you're not eating enough fuel, you're having too many vegetables, and then you are going to cause potentially, adrenal fatigue, you're going to lose sleep, you're going to gain weight back when you're binging and getting those calories back in that your body needs for survival. And so you're going to rebound and yo-yo.
I want to say this too. When it comes to having top-notch fitness and really gauging how much vegetables to eat, I think that our veggie intake can be greater if our fitness is lower. So if we aren't ultimately super fit, or we aren't training a lot, maybe we're just doing 10 minutes of health bounds or gentle walks, maybe some more vegetables being present in the menu will help with bulking out the meal and help with weight loss and with stored fat on the body. I know she said that, there's ways to manipulate so the body uses stored fat, but it ultimately can be very strategic to incorporate vegetables in a meaningful way, because you might be coming from a very high fat, fast food menu, and then just coming to a starch-based diet and incorporating vegetables. It might be, very comforting and will make meals satisfying, and will just bring overall the calories down a little bit. And we do also prefer in a weight loss phase, we prefer including and incorporating toppings and condiments and salts and sugars that really satisfy the palate and make the meal and the menu so easy and sustainable, including oil, adding in oil or even animal products, because what matters most is that you are looking at the 5-year mark and the 10-year mark, and you're still starch-based. And if you think that avoiding oil and avoiding animal products is going to get you to that 5 and 10 year mark, then that might work. But if you know yourself, and a little pat of butter on your oatmeal, or a little pat of butter on your cream of wheat, or a little spread of margarine on your whole grain bread is going to keep you starch-based and make you happy and healthy. You can still lose weight, and you can be happier and get on your fitness journey and all the things. And then just know that whatever you may include in your high starch menu, it doesn't have to be a permanent addition. You just notice that at that moment in time, you are desiring it. And that's how we've approached it. And some of you have watched us eating on the Trophy Body Diet and in our personal Instagram accounts at Trophy Sally and at Trophy Steffi. You've seen us experiment with our menu, and it's because we're always evolving and we're going through phases with everything. So be in a phase and own your phase and love it.
Let me say real quick back on vegetables. Iceberg lettuce is a wonderful vegetable to add in to a weight loss menu. But I need to just say that what we believe about vegetables is what we really need to ask ourselves, because are we eating vegetables because we believe that, we need the micronutrients? Are we eating the vegetables because we need the fiber? Are we eating the vegetables because we're believing that less calories is the goal? So where are we at with that? Because that needs to be addressed. If you're thinking you need the micronutrients, add them in. If you think you need them for the fiber, add them in. But are we calculating total fiber in the day? Are we tracking everything that we're eating in Chronometer and seeing if we are micronutrient not meeting our micronutrient needs? And then also, are we meeting our calorie needs, our carbohydrate needs? And are we sleeping well? And so are we adding in the vegetables because we think we need to eat less calories, but are we not sleeping well? It goes deep. And that's why I think that if we're following, she and I believe that if we're eating a starch-based diet, then all of the vitamins and minerals that we need, and fiber and protein and water and fat, are all in the starches. And then fruits and vegetables are just icing on the cake that we can have as sprinkles, but the starches have everything we need.
So hello, Amy and Marie, Melissa, Marcy, Les, and Catherine, and Kauai. Is it Kauai? So I just want to say, what supplements do we take? I have a bottle of magnesium tablets and ashwagandha and B12, and I'll take them consistently, but then inconsistently, because I'm not strict about taking them every day, and I don't take
Sally
takes any supplements. Abigail, you're welcome. Les says, when you switched to high carb, did you experience any stomach discomfort? Yes, because we explored tremendous amounts of vegetables or tremendous amounts of fruit. So when we got down to the favorites, when we are really focusing on our favorite starches, when we got down to our favorite starches, and this was bread, cereal, and potatoes, rice and pasta and beans. Beans can be tricky if you're putting in all of a sudden heap loads of beans. That can cause stomach discomfort. But when it comes,
huge topic.
It's a huge topic.
Transitioning to a starch-based diet is a whole new language to learn.
Volume is a big part of the equation, and getting to know our volume needs, getting to know the feelings of satiation coming from starches, because even ChatGPT will tell me that protein is the most satiating food on the planet, and I eat a bowl of frosted mini wheats and I'm stuffled.
There's protein in frosted mini wheats, Trophy Steffi.
I don't think I would
There's
get
6 grams of protein per serving.
I don't think I would get
How many servings are you eating in one sitting?
Yeah.
I'm serious. How many?
Up to 2.
Up to 2. So 2 would have 12 grams of protein in it. That's a lot of protein.
Okay, but
I mean, unless you're being told to eat 35 to 50 grams of protein in your first meal upon rise.
It really comes down, with stomach discomfort. Please be aware that we all are very, very guilty of swallowing food faster than we really, our body or our digestion intends for it. So being more present when we eat doesn't mean we have to not be distracted at all. And it doesn't mean we have to masticate the food beyond, what is reasonable. But presence with food is a language that we should learn, and it'll help us to determine our portion need in the moment. We can connect with the satiation signals that are new signals that we learn. Kind of like if the food doesn't appeal, literally mid-bite, the food could stop being appealing, or the food texture might shift. So when we can learn the language of starch, we can learn the language of a new menu if we're switching it over, being a little bit more present when we eat and chewing food a little bit better, and making sure we are hydrated to the best of our ability, keeping the urine light in color. This is going to help tremendously with digestion. I think that whenever I finally I'm always reminding myself, it's like I'm on a daily journey of, please remember, Steffi, to chew. Please remember to be present. When we actually face that reality and we connect better with food, we will have better digestion and elimination, and we will connect to proper portions that will serve us with our goals, whether that be weight loss or energy maintenance, or even muscle gain, or gaining health, just being more present when we eat.
This might be a leap, but I'm here to give you the best I got. And I was just talking about this in a DM with someone. And I do know that when we're coming from a different diet and we want to transition to a carb adapted diet where our bodies are eating the carbs, absorbing the micronutrients, the macronutrients, and the water and the fiber, and everything is moving smoothly through, and our muscles are filling with glycogen, and we're having these amazing workouts, and we're losing the weight, and then we keep the weight off, and energy is peaking and soaring, and sleep is phenomenal, hydration, there's no dryness on the skin, and energy is so good day in and day out. This is like the dream life, right? That we have achieved. And so I want to say that when you're coming from a more complex digestive system and you want to switch to a clean, lean carbohydrate digestion, then if you want to do it quickly, you may need to do a cleanse, so that when you introduce the carbohydrates back into your diet, or now you don't have to, the cleanse I was actually thinking of was more like mono meals or simple eating, like 1 to 2 ingredients in the day. There was a little diet that was created by Dr. McDougall's wife, and it was called a Mary's Mini. And what she wanted for starch enthusiasts to do was to pick their favorite starch and to eat it all day long, and only eat that one starch and do it for 3 days. And then you have the digestion getting cleansed so that you can then start to introduce new starches into your body. And know that even though you might not have perfect digestion when you do start to introduce new starches into your body, know that you'll adapt to them. Because if you have, let's say you pick potato or sweet potato or all variety of potatoes, which is something that's been very common in the past, going on a potato cleanse, a potato diet. So you do it for 3 days. Then on the 4th day, you introduce bread, or you introduce cream of wheat or cereal, and you have indigestion from it. Stay calm and trust that the next day you do it, you might not feel the same way. Because if you have bread or you have some wheat the next day, on the 4th day, and you don't have good digestion, and then you write it off forever, you'll never be able to trust in it again. And you're not giving your body a chance to adapt to it.
You could reduce the portion size of it the next time. You could be more present when you eat it.
Yeah, and have the hydrated version. So we've got our grains, and then we've got potatoes, and then legumes. It's basically the starches. They are all summed up there. And what you could do is you could write them down. There's corn, there's rice, there's wheat, there's oats, and That's probably all the other minor grains. Minor meaning they're not as prevalent, I suppose, at least in the US. But so wheat, for example, the hydrated version of wheat would be cream of wheat, and the dry version of wheat would be wheat cereals. And then rice, the hydrated is cream of rice. And then the little bit less, it's still hydrated, would be regular rice, but cream of rice would be just that little bit more hydration. So if you do the potato cleanse and then you start introducing new starches into your body, have them in the hydrated form that's similar to how hydrated a potato is. And then start to work your way down with water and in your food. So eventually you can be having cereal and bread, because those are the two things that are the least hydrated and potentially could cause the most problems in the digestion, along with beans. And so you want to work your way up to that and then be able to have that, because do you know how easy world it is to be able to have bread anytime you want and cereal anytime you want?
It's so easy.
When you can wake up and have a bowl of cereal, or you can go to a restaurant and you can have the bread that they're serving.
Bread basket, please.
And then you can get pasta and you can get tacos and burritos and Thai food and sushi and potentially pizza. Like we get mod pizza and we just get the red sauce. We don't get the dairy cheese. We get plant cheese. I mean, this is real freedom when we now can have the dry grains and then of course potatoes are always going to be hydrated and always going to be wonderful, but we cook them at home so we don't have them deep fried in oil, and then everything is good. Everything is really good.
Marcy asks about drinking water while eating.
Great question.
Sometimes we'll crack was it Kirkland Signature sparkling water? Doesn't matter what brand. A sparkling water, just an unsweetened sparkling water while we're eating. But for the most part, we will try to get as hydrated as much as possible between meals.
Oh, I want to say that if you sit down to a meal, and I think sparkling water should be the go-to, but sometimes even being a carb adapted, we can have like a juice or even soda. If that sounds good, absolutely have it.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Because if it sounds good, but you say, no, I'm on a diet, I'm not going to have that, I need less calories to lose weight, then you're depriving yourself and you're not living your best life.
You could sip it and see how much you need of it, because it's like you only need as much as you need. The can doesn't necessarily determine the portion you need. Right. We have little 8-ounce cans, I think. And even with those, sometimes we won't finish it because it's like, whoa, too much, just a little bit goes a long way. But I got a really important question here. Talking about my mental health journey. We all have a mental health journey. And I just want to really quickly brief that I do talk about my mental health journey on my Trophy Steffi Instagram account. And I've mentioned with my struggles with anxiety and with stress, and I went through a phase in the 2018 to 2023. I went through a journey of experiencing dizziness associated with anxiety, and that kind of like rewired my brain in a way, and it made anxiety louder to me. It made me more aware of it. So I got more sensitive to stress overall, and my fight or flight system, it was more activated because dizziness is loud. Okay. And same with tinnitus. If someone has ringing in there, that can be loud too. So there's great books and resources that I have purchased. Which one is the one from Joey Remini? Well, the book, it's I'll have the link in the description. How about that? It's a book on neuroplasticity, and it's phenomenal. And so I have the tools and resources to switch my brain and to help with the dizziness associated with anxiety and stress. And sometimes when it comes to consuming enough food and having a journey with our menu and with eating, there can be triggers, and the body can respond to, when we eat too much or when we don't eat enough, and that can definitely heighten stress. And so it is just a one day at a time experience, no matter what diet we're on, because, you could be on any menu and still experience tremendous stress and anxiety. And I feel like also with flexing and with doing a lot of intensity with my training, that can also kind of make my body a little bit more stressed. So in ways I feel lucky to be able to experience and learn, and just I have learned about neuroplasticity and how to rewire the brain. I've learned about meditation. I've learned about how to calm my nervous system down, and this is good for me, and I can actually help, others and share this experience and help myself and get to know myself and love myself in such a deeper, profound way, because it is stemming. I think that anxiety and stress can go deeper to our childhood, and we can kind of just kind of unravel some of the stresses that we have taken into our adulthood by using cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and neuroplasticity, changing the brain. So definitely part of my journey, and I like to talk about it, and I do try to navigate also through hormone fluctuation throughout the month, because there's some times of the month where I don't have any stress, and I'm just, I'm unstoppable and nothing could get me down. And then next thing I know, I'm in a phase in my cycle where I am much more sensitive to stress, and I'm learning how to shift my lifestyle at that time of the month, because we can't go hard with our muscle gaining goals. We can't go hard with our fat loss goals. We can't go hard with anything when our body is more sensitive to stress. As females who are menstruating, there is a time in the month where we are more sensitive to stress. Do you have an experience throughout the month where you feel like you experience more stress and less stress, or do you have any stress?
100%. And it's not something that I admit often, because I always blame it on something that I'm doing wrong. And that's maybe one of my faults. I know that when I'm in my luteal phase, I get anxious, and I have periods of time where I try to control outside of myself as much as possible, because I feel like I'm losing control. And so everyone around me is affected when I start to become a control freak. And it's been something that's I've been trying to be more honest about it with myself and with others. But I also don't to be honest, my period has been on a perfect cycle for a decade, until when we started really getting into our rebounding journeys. I have definitely had some on and off, or I've always had a period, but my period has been longer cycles, and then shorter cycles, not as consistent. And even to be as honest and transparent with you, I actually skipped my last period, which is the very first time that that's ever happened. And so I know that it's possible that my diet changing and tweaking along with training increasing a little bit because I'm fit model motivated, and my diet changing because I'm fit model motivated, I officially didn't have a period. But I know though that I'm back into a cycle. And so I know I'm on track to, have a normal cycle. If you know what I mean, I don't want to give details, but I know I'm having a normal cycle again because
Ovulating.
yes. And so I will see if I have my period again, and I want to keep you a post on that too, because I want to be as honest with myself as possible, and honest with you about how learning to navigate getting down to stage lean is a whole another thing that we've never explored before.
Very low body fat levels.
Right.
We're definitely going down in our weight to, around the 120, the low 120s. It's the lowest our weight has ever been in since we were 19. But when we were 17, we were 170 pounds, and we did a little weight transformation when we were 17 years old to 18, and that was the way we lost weight. That was a whole different story, a whole different ball game. It was not starch based. It was low carb, and we lost weight, and we had pretty low body fat levels back then too. We were 120. So anyway, getting down to this body fat level is definitely an opportunity to navigate mental health and hormone imbalance or balance, just the way however we decide to look at it. And we are 40 as well. So, and like she said, it's been since we started being rebounding fitness instructors is where our bodies took on a whole new level of fitness. And so it's been, for the most part, very stable menstruation, but then there's little, ups and downs. And yes, we need to talk about that because it's not like jumping and starches equals no problems whatsoever. If I'm a stress ball and my shoulders are constantly tense or my neck is tense, my body is going to react to that. My body's going to respond. It's going to say, you need to chill. You need to, do things that'll help to take down the stress. And I'm also someone who my mind, I'm a thinker, and I actually
an overthinker.
Overthinker.
We're all overthinkers. Come on.
I think we're all overthinkers, but I kind of became more aware of that recently. And it's actually nice because when I hear myself thinking, I'm like, now I just like step outside of myself going, listen to myself think. I was just seeing all these thoughts coming through.
I do want to say one.
Are we going to talk about our diet?
We are. And I want to, this is along with the diet conversation and quick things I want to touch on here. But I want to say that for any of you that may, because I got some questions yesterday on my Instagram, my Trophy Sally Instagram, asking about being in a deficit. And I want to say right off the bat, nippy in the butt, if my body doesn't get its calorie needs met, its carbohydrate needs met, I don't fall asleep. It doesn't go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. It goes 8 hours, and I will, meaning... No, for the day, for the 12-hour day, if I don't meet my needs from about, 6:30 to 6:30, that night, 8:30, 9 o'clock,
we're eating bowls of cereal.
There's no Z's
we're
happening.
Cereal
bowls are happening is what's happening. And as soon as I do, out
Good
like
night.
a light.
Great sleep scores. We have Aura rings and we
true.
track our scores.
But is that ideal, eating like right before bed? Like literally...
Don't worry if
bite,
it's not ideal. Just
fall asleep. Lay down.
You do what you got to do.
Not ideal. So, so there's no going into a deficit in our journey here to the Fit Model stage to our best bodies with iJumpSport. It's about manipulating our calorie density so that our stomachs are full and our calorie needs are met and our metabolisms are strong from the jumping, and then we're losing body fat because we're tweaking our diet macros.
So yeah, that was a lot to process what you just said as far as, calorie deficit and volume, because we talked about vegetables, but like
we have to meet our needs.
When it comes down to it, we are managing to shift weight down to a stage lean while not experiencing hunger, unless we experience hunger before bed, and then we have to consume food. There won't ever be a night where it's 10 o'clock and I'm not falling asleep. I don't care if it's the night before stage. If I'm not falling asleep, I will put more food in my body.
Oh yeah, because we can't stay up all night long.
There might be approaches out there where people say, I'm sticking strong. I'm on prep. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Coach says, this and that, and that can't be our approach because we just won't. I don't know. It's just a different ball game. It's a different ball game with different macronutrients.
Let me answer this question quick. I have a BCAN as a beginner. Hi, Namble. I have a BCAN as a beginner. So you have any tips for how I can begin to build muscle on the BCAN? Would you suggest small weights due to it having less resistance as a Cellerciser? If you are investing in your health and your fitness journey and the BCAN is all that you can afford, then you can bounce on it. Don't bounce too high on it. And if you already have weights, you can explore weightlifting and you can see how your joints respond to that, especially working the weights around your rebounding, because then you're really loosening up your joints and pumping that circulation, like the lactic acid out of your muscles when you lift, and then you can bounce them out with low bouncing on the BCAN. The BCAN can still be a phenomenal rebounder for taking us to a certain level with our fitness journey. The Cellerciser will take us to the highest possible level that we can achieve, but that doesn't necessarily need to be everyone's goal. It's just the highest, most elite level of resistance deep into the muscles, into our mind to muscle connection, but we can still reach a good level with the BCAN. We can reach potentially a better level with a JumpSport or just like the next step up in price range. So yeah, do your best. And if you have weights and you want to lift them and you feel safe doing so, then you can absolutely explore that if that's all you can afford as far as investing in your health. Because if you can invest in a higher quality rebounder, then I would absolutely do that and have the BCAN as a secondary rebounder for a second room and for easy bouncing, like I said, in a second area of your home so that you can have more chances on your rebounder, getting that bouncing in. So let's talk about Fit Model. Let's talk about
Our menu. Let's go over our menu first.
Well, really quick, I just want to say that Fit Model is a new division in the bodybuilding world, NPC and IFBB. And Fit Model, the criteria for Fit Model is to have muscle top to bottom, but not to be as built as the next division up, which is the bikini division. So just a smaller set of muscles head to toe. And then also to not have extreme conditioning, but to have very sustainable, achievable conditioning that almost everyone can achieve, because the bikini division, which is the more entry-level division, it has been the more entry-level division up until this point, is reaching the level of conditioning and muscle that takes 5+, maybe even 10 years to build. And so it's not
requires help.
Yes. And definitely. Yeah. I mean, when competition is stiff, we might be going into different measures of getting those results that will get us that win, will get us the pro card, will get us the trophies. So anyhow, now they've created a new entry-level division and it's called Fit Model. And they've only had one show up until this point. It's February right now, 2025. But the division is starting to get into it's a momentum. And so the main shows I think are going to be starting spring, end of March in through April, May, and June. And then the pro qualifiers are going to be June, July, and August. And so anyway, we were interested in bikini and the bikini division a few years back, but we really knew that
I was interested in figure.
She was interested in figure, right. So we were really interested in bodybuilding. So we knew that there was joy there that was being sparked. But we also knew that the rebounder was never going to build us the muscles that the bikini athletes were building.
Whoa. Wasn't it the menu that we potentially figured was...
Well, and also the menu. So it's a yin yang. It's equal parts.
We don't know if somebody could build the amount of muscle on a Cellerciser that's required for competitive bodybuilding. We don't know.
What I believe is that the rebounder builds proportioned muscle to your frame. And so you could even come in from being a bikini athlete or even being a figure athlete, a fitness athlete, a bodybuilder, a physique athlete in bodybuilding. And if you want to actually bring your muscle back down to proportion with your frame, the rebounder will do that, because the rebounder is strengthening you with the weight of gravity, and it's even, and it's only to an extent. And so it will bring you up to your frame's perfect proportions. And if you do it right, then you will have that mind to muscle connection from jawline to feet, which is what we provide in our membership workouts and our free workouts online at an easier pace on iJumpInstead YouTube. So we've got you covered as far as workouts. If you want to join the jumping journey, you want to join the Trophy Tribe and begin your jumping journey and potentially build your Fit Model body, or bring your size down from a bikini athlete and beyond down to a Fit Model body. And we're certain that the muscle that we have, jawline to feet, is in proportion, is in balance, and is going to be good for the Fit Model stage, but it still is subjective, because the judges have also only seen weightlifting bodies, iron made bodies. And so when we bring the gravity made body, the gravity muscles,
muscles.
Very flexible muscles. Plus, also our diet is unique. It's not a protein-based diet. It's a carbohydrate-based diet, meaning it's very lean. So it's just going to be interesting to see what the judges say, and if the judges respond in the way we hope they respond, which is that they like it and they want more. Otherwise, we're being honest. We kind of feel like it's either going to be we're going to land first place
hit or
or we're
miss,
going to
yeah.
land last place, and we're willing to accept that because we know that it's its own unique sport. And so we're not coming in and saying, well, we've got the trophy body, but if you don't agree, then mama, it's like, it's, we're coming and playing in your territory. And so we get that if we don't fit the criteria for what they're looking for, we get it. And we're going to still live our best lives in our trophy bodies.
And we're hoping that as the sport evolves and getting into the pro, the giving out pro cards, and then next year the pro shows and stuff, that it will shift, the criteria will shift, or the athletes will kind of demand like a little bit of a shift in the overall look. And so we don't know exactly how the level of conditioning will evolve or the level of muscularity will evolve. But we do think that the presentation and the posing is definitely kind of something that if you bring that in, a 10 out of 10 or a 20 out of 10, you're really going to get recognized. And so it definitely can be part of, part of our main focus is to really dial in that posing and that
Which we
presentation,
love.
and then present the muscles. And I did want to just say one really quick thing about what you're saying about building perfect proportioned muscles on the body. There is definitely strategy when it comes to building muscle. We all know when it comes to building muscle, you have to be consistent. You have to like kind of train the muscles consistently, which we do in our workouts, but we had to learn with creating moves that there are certain moves you need to incorporate more regularly in order to build that really beautiful balance, because muscles do tend to dominate, or like they take over, like quads, for instance, can take over. And so we have to, change things up a little bit. And I do think that there is a way to manipulate and cross over into territory where we can grow further into muscles that wouldn't, I think that we can. For instance, the glutes. I think somebody could go after glutes on a Cellerciser and grow a little bit bigger than the next person, because if they're gonna, really strategically build and break down and build and recover and break down and, and I think that it can be done. So we can build just perfectly proportionate muscle, and we can also kind of create enhanced shape if that's what we desire. Because I do think we're going to be able to come off that stage and bring new, and it could be because we're creating more detail, or we're still getting more. It's like you don't just all of a sudden jump instead and show up with the greatest potential that you could achieve. It takes work, and it takes time, and it takes jumping instead with us, because that's what we want to do and provide in our workouts, is getting the details down, because we're building our own details. So we're building you details with us.
I think that you're wanting to say that, yes, eventually 5 years being a fit model for 5 years, you're going to have a better body at the 5-year mark. But come on, the first time you step on stage, you're bringing your best, because that's what you built up until that point, and that wins an award too.
We will see.
And if you're jumping instead and you're getting lots of variety in our best workouts that we offer online in our membership, but you've worked your way up to our membership by starting with our free workouts that we upload also weekly at a lower intensity pace, where you learn your mind to muscle connection and you learn the jumping ropes, eventually getting into our membership, keeping the variety going, meaning you jump into all the membership workouts that we give you, or you stick with a few of them and you do them at least 5 to 6 times a week. You're also getting your evenings in where you're stretching out your body. And if you are going on a fit model journey, you're bouncing around your posing, practicing too, to keep your body nice and relaxed, because it takes a lot of lower back flexibility to work on posing. Regardless, to say, you're going to look your best when you step on stage for the first time. And of course, you're going to look better the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, but you're going to look amazing the first time.
And it can be the stage of life.
And so will you.
And it could be the stage of life, baby. You do not have to get on any stage. And it can be a lifelong journey of connecting to your best body every year. Like without
It
having
can't
to
be
get on
about the
stage.
win. It has to be about how far
And
you
this
come.
can be-
You kidding me? 60 pounds down.
And this can be men or women too, because men coming in hot, jump
The
instead.
conditioning. So, and that's another thing too, is if we are in a division that's a higher division in the sense of more muscle, but we're just looking for a new, fun, innovative way to condition our bodies down, jumping could be amazing just for conditioning. And it won't make you lose muscle. It will only make you downsize if it's the only thing you do. But if you're a lifter and you love lifting, but you're just looking for a new way to condition,
That
jump
is your
instead.
conditioning tool.
Yes.
In
You
your
want the
hotel,
best quality.
in your Airbnb, traveling with it, no chance you're going to need any sort of treadmill. This is going to do the job.
What
times
is this
20.
rebounder? This is the Cellerciser rebounder. We have it in the description box below. This is the highest resistance rebounder on the market. The mat material is also the highest quality material on the market. No other mat. So the resistance mat that we're jumping on, that matters. The quality of it matters, because then when you're going up and down, your back feels happy, and you're also in a rhythm where you're feeling super good, and you can stay consistent and stay on the beat. And you can do that with other rebounders, but over time, the mat starts to sag, and then you're not realizing it, but you're getting more impact on your body and on your joints, which actually can be worse than ever.
High
Also-
impact.
and then with the resistance, these are patented springs that are built to last a lifetime. And so you keep that resistance against your muscles, which means you're working with weights. We're accessing the weights of the earth, the forces of the earth, the forces of acceleration, deceleration, increased gravity, G-force, right? And we're accessing them through the springs. You don't want the springs to lose their strength, or the bungees to lose their strength, or even to not have the strength from the beginning, because then you're lifting lower weights, or your weights that start out as, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds over time drop in weight. So now your 30-pound weight is now 20 pounds, is now 10 pounds, because the bungees are stretching out, or the springs are stretching out. And if that happens and the mat quality isn't good either, over time, there's just more impact on the body. So the reason why we recommend this rebounder is because over time it stays amazing. That's what we want for you. So you can start with any rebounder you want, but you just have to pay attention when it starts to lose its resistance and its quality support for your joints, because your joints are so important.
And this folds into 3. So, and it fits into a rolling carrying case, which is why I talk about traveling with it, because this is how, this is the easiest rebounder to travel with. It's the easiest foldable. This one's the tri-fold Cellerciser. The bifold, it's the same exact trampoline, gives you the same resistance. It folds in half. Either one, the trifold or the bifold, needs to go under the plane. So you got to pack it in a way. If you get a trifold, keep the box that it comes in, and you can ship it, or you can travel with it in its box, which takes away.
Do not have to do that.
It actually takes away the whole point of rolling it in the carrying case.
We did that one time out
But
of
it
the
just-
25
we felt
times
good.
we've traveled with our trifold. One time it was in a box. It's in the rolling case 99% of the time.
Yeah, but we felt good about it being in a box, because it is down there with all the suitcases. You can also travel with the bifold, but is it, is a win worth it to not bring our rebounder? We bring the rebounder.
Everywhere
we
we
need to
go.
win. We're winners. in
Camping,
life.
sorry to interrupt you. Camping is amazing for the bifold or the trifold, obviously, but camping, folding it flat,
Traveling by
sliding it-
car.
folding it flat and putting it in the back of the car is amazing. But if you don't see yourself traveling with your rebounder, just go with the bifold, because it's less price, but both are phenomenal. But if you're like, okay, I'm going to have a rebounder bestie and she's going to go everywhere, she's going to go everywhere with me by airplane, just get the trifold. You're set.
We're talking diet next, right now.
Diet. So we, as you know, we eat a starch-based diet, and we have explored, because it's a carbohydrate-based diet, we have also explored having high fruit as the main source of our carbohydrates. But that quickly went out the window when fruit quality became absolute garbage. And also, there's not much protein. There's zero protein in fruit. And so protein really does in the grams that it comes in with the starches makes a difference when it comes to fruit. Fruit is just super fast to digest, which means not only do you have to consume a lot of it, up to 25 to 3,000 plus calories a day, but you also have to have it ripe in season. It's expensive. You have to be living in a climate that has it in abundance, or else you have to go out of your way. You have to eat like majority bananas, and not all bananas are created equal. Like, I'm sorry, but some bananas just like they're like underripe until they're overripe, and they're funky. And so anyway, now we eat starches, which is so easy world because they're shelf stable, and it's been a long journey of figuring out what starches are the best for us. And so we've lost the majority of our weight just switching to a starch-based diet. And now that we were 10 pounds over stage weight, because we're not sure what our stage weight is, but when we were within 10 pounds to 15 pounds of over stage weight, we decided now we need to look at our starches again and see what starches are going to be the ones that are going to fill our nutrient needs and also our volume needs, but also help us to trim those pounds, and so that we can slice and dice.
So really quickly to recap, when we switched to the starch-based diet, the main starches we were eating were oatmeal, bread, rice, beans, and potatoes, and
Corn.
and cereal, I guess. But it was we were kind of just, should we eat lots of rice? Should we eat lots of potatoes? Should we eat lots of oatmeal? These were kind of the main, and beans. These were the main starches that we ate, and we did our best because this was kind of the menu that was presented with the protocol of starch-based. And over the years, we've noticed that we had to ask ourselves a question of what do we see ourselves eating in 5 years? What do we want to be eating now? What is really the most sustainable and delicious, satisfying food? It was bread and cereal, 100%. And then we do like potatoes, and then rice and beans have their place as well. But we didn't feel like we grew up eating white rice like the Asians did. So it wasn't something that we felt like it was more satisfying than bread, for instance. So bread took the lead role. Cereal, like such as frosted mini wheats or unfrosted mini wheats like shredded wheat, grape nuts, basically like starch-based cereals that are not like sugar being the first ingredient or oil being the second or third ingredient. So like mostly carbohydrate focused cereal like Honey Bunches of Oats and Honey Nut Cheerios, corn flakes or frosted flakes, things like that.
There's lots of cereals from Trader Joe's and things too.
And yeah.
And all these cereals too, it's like
And almond milk.
some of them have whole grain as the first ingredient, sugar as the second ingredient. That's kind of the ones that we choose. But like Frosted Flakes, the first ingredient isn't whole corn. It's just like milled corn or some kind of corn, but we still find it to be extremely fast to digest and straight to the glucose needs in the muscles, and so excellent energy. And when it comes to, I actually asked ChatGPT today, I asked if I meet my calorie needs, can I lose muscle easily? And ChatGPT said, if you meet your calorie needs and you stay in motion, meaning you do what you do, which I jump instead, you won't lose muscle. The only way to lose muscle is if you go into an extreme deficit, or you fast, or you
don't meet your fuel needs.
Yeah, it was extreme conditions of fasting and being in a deficit, which is a typical thing that a bodybuilder might do in prep and peak week, is to start to drop weight or to drop calories so that they drop weight and then they lose muscle. And so I say this because when we're exploring, being strategic with our starch choices, and we know that we're still meeting our needs, I had to ask myself, well, if I started eating more white rice, if I started eating more cream of rice and, sugary cereals like Frosted Flakes that don't have as much protein as shredded wheat, am I going to potentially lose muscle? And according to ChatGPT, it says I'm not.
This one is thinking about that because her weight is dropping a little bit faster than me. So I was back on track with what I say. When we first switched over to starches, oatmeal, rice and beans, potatoes, bread and cereal, and fruits and vegetables
Corn.
as desired, and then fats, corn, and fats as desired, plant fats or whatever. And we would try to keep the fats in the 10 to 20% range of total calories. We weren't counting calories, but you know what that looks like with the plate, just 15-20%. Just a condiment style, kind of decoration style with the fats, right? Make the food satisfying and delicious. And over the years, because I'm going to skim to Fit Model diet, okay?
Yeah, we're waiting.
Over the years, we have explored eating more vegetables and less vegetables. We've lost weight. We've put weight back on. We've done all these things. We've explored lower to no fat, increased fats. We've had tremendous amounts of bread diet focused, and we've had focus on cereal and all the things. So we lost almost all the weight focusing on these foods and just having 10 to 15% of our calories coming from fat and, low moderate protein, probably like 50 to 75 grams of protein per day. We lost all the weight up till about 130. We're 5'7". And now switching to Fit Model. So I'll bet you our stage weight will be, my stage weight will likely be no lighter than 120. I don't see myself doing too many pounds less than 120, but that would be a stretch for me. And, we might have a different stage weight. She might be a little bit lighter than me, 115.
We will have a different stage weight.
She might be 115 or something like that.
I don't know what it is about my body, but I think I'm going to be more closer to 117 for my stage weight.
Okay. And so, yeah, I'm thinking 120 for me. And, but when we switched to, we're getting this weight that, we've never lost before off, we did notice, first we noticed freedom, and we were like, the intention, we intended to do this without counting calories and without making it a big deal. Right. We increased present eating. So we increased chewing and being present with eating and hydrating, and just noticing that every choice we were making, high Fit Model, this is a decision, And then we said we trust. 11 weeks out, or it was 13 weeks out when we started, and we trusted. And then we noticed that whenever we would, over the weeks, we would kind of go, something needs to shift. It's just feeling like the time. We would make a shift, and we made diet shifts, and it would just be, the elimination of this and that. I think we reduced fats at one point, so we kind of eliminated fats and oils. We also tried for a second. We removed bread, and then we brought it back, and now we've removed it again. But bread is on par with Fit Model body. In my mind, it is. And we also introduced more hydration in the starches, meaning specifically cream of wheat and corn grits, which is like a porridge. And porridge is hot right now. We're loving porridge. And to be honest, getting all the way down to 130, I don't think we touched cream of wheat with a 10-foot pole. I mean, there might have been a couple meals of cream of wheat, maybe 1 or 2 meals of polenta, and I'm exaggerating.
None for me.
There was some polenta in there, but it wasn't. We were cereal, bread, potatoes, rice, beans, and pasta all the way till super, super lean, healthy, awesome, fit bodies.
130, healthy.
Oh, 130, beautiful, 5'7". So yeah. And then, like I said, over the last 13 weeks, we've reduced fats, and we've done this, more present with food. That alone was a huge factor, okay? And cycle syncing.
Cut out coffee creamer.
Those little things that have the fats, just start looking at these little things. And we noticed too, which we've been doing for a while now, but reducing fruits and vegetables almost to a minimum, just a little tiny bit here and there, and then increasing hydration. What does this do? It simplifies our digestion.
Bingo.
Having good digestion helps with weight loss. And so we had a question about the stomach, the stress in the stomach. The stress in the stomach, it's our brain right here. So stress is something that prevents weight loss. And so if we have a lot of stress in the brain or in the gut, it can prevent weight loss. So eliminating stress, one way to do it is simplifying the menu, like she talked about with Mary's Mini, just like simplifying wheat. If you were to do cream of wheat, if you were to do a Mary's Mini and you were to say, I'm focusing on wheat, you could literally have bread. This is my thing, right? Bread, cream of wheat, and cereal, wheat cereals, for instance. Just saying, just throwing it out there.
But sugar
and salt. That's a great addition. So low fat, starch-based or hydrated starches, the addition of sugar and salt.
Sugar is tricky because sugar is when it can affect blood sugar negatively. And so when we are adapting to a carbohydrate diet, we're already switching from potentially predominantly proteins and fats with minimal carbs to now high carb. And we actually, if we have insulin resistance, which I'm hearing more and more on podcasts that are showing up and YouTube videos that are showing up, insulin resistance is potentially the number one cause for all disease. So insulin resistance is prevalent, and it's likely for a lot of us if we've been eating a mix of macros up until this point, which means that when we switch to and adapt to a high carbohydrate diet, we actually don't want to throw sugar into the mix. We actually want to keep sugar to a minimum while we're adapting, which is why the Mary's Mini could be perfect to do, because let's get the cleansing out of the way. Let's give ourselves a period of time to cleanse. It could be 3 days, it could be up to a week even. And then let's introduce more starches. Let's introduce some sugar to taste. This was one of the things that McDougall used to say, a tablespoon of sugar on a bowl of oatmeal.
Oh, he said a teaspoon?
A teaspoon is not enough.
Take your fingers and sprinkle.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yes.
So yeah. And then you might say, well, what about stevia or something? I mean, your tongue is thinking it's sugar. Let's just try to adapt to sugar. So long story short, if you were to look at this over a month's time, you're going to say the first week I'm going to go on a Mary's Mini, all potatoes. The second week I'm going to start to introduce new starches, and I'm going to start with watching my sugar intake, and I'm just going to have a tablespoon a day. And then the third week, 2 tablespoons a day. The fourth week, 3 tablespoons a day. And know that having 4 tablespoons a day in sugar is very easy to do, because if you're having barbecue sauce, if you're having a little bit of juice, if you're having any other condiments in your diet, if you're having frosted mini wheats, for example,
this would not be
it's easy to get that many grams of sugar in your day, and you should be easy. It should be easy to consume it and digest it without any blood sugar issues. But you have to work your way up to that, and then salt should be free flowing from the start. No question about it. Just make sure you're also hydrating. Salt should not be reduced.
So getting Redmond's real salt was a game changer for us, because the salt quality is there and it's thin. It's like, it's a nice thin salt. It's not thick and chunky like Celtic sea salt, because we hear great things about Celtic sea salt, but Redmond real salt is amazing. Salt to taste and sugar to taste. And when she said 4 tablespoons a day of sugar, I feel like almost triggered, because you are talking about like what sugars would be added in the foods, like frosted mini wheats and frosted flakes, for instance, or
barbecue sauce is basically all sugar.
Yeah, so we're not taking the sugar, the cane sugar, and just making sure to add 4 tablespoons into our
Just to
menu.
get adapted. I was just talking about that month where you want to adapt to sugar. First, you start with the Mary's Mini, and then you work your way up, and then you're adapted to it. So then you can live your life, and you
Are
can.
you supposed to stay on the quarter cup of sugar
Well, no,
every day?
Then you work. I'm sorry to interrupt. Then you have sugar to taste,
which could look like a teaspoon or a tablespoon.
How many
here and
tablespoons
there.
of barbecue sauce do you have with your potatoes? Because sometimes.
So you go from adding
Sorry, that was a little bit,
granulated sugar
but-
to your food now to switching it to barbecue sauce. Just clarifying here.
When I said to have a tablespoon of sugar a day for the second week, and then 2 tablespoons the third week, maybe I should have been more clear with saying we could go in grams. So a tablespoon of sugar is 16 grams. How many grams of sugar is a tablespoon? Because isn't 12 grams of sugar? So 12 grams of sugar the first week, 24 grams of sugar the second week, 36. And I'm telling you, it's like there's like 15 grams of sugar in one serving of barbecue sauce.
Or what you could do instead to adapt to sugar is you could focus on shredded wheat cereal and grape nuts.
There's like
and
sugar in those.
And then salt and maybe some salt and pepper on your potatoes, and then have sugar to taste, and just get yourself introducing a little bit of frosted mini wheats, introducing maybe some a little sugared cereals, but you don't have to count grams of sugar.
This has gone off on a little bit of a track, but I do want to really quick jump in here. And Sherry, hi, how are you? You say, any tips to remember to tighten abs as you jump? Both of you have incredible arms. So when it comes to abs, I think abs are built by jumping in our workouts, of course, but you notice that when you jump straight up and down, your body is getting resistance, right? But as soon as you tilt just a degree to the left or to the right or to the front or to the back, you're putting resistance against your abs. You're putting leverage against your abs in a way that has your abs contract differently. So you want to just do our workouts, and you want to notice that when you're doing side kicks or front kicks or back kicks, you're not always standing straight up and down with no core contraction. All the moves are having you move left and right. So do you want your abs to be working more? You need to mind to ab connection as much as you can so that you can be building them. Just like your arms, if we're doing arm work and we're going up like this, you want to be mind to shoulder connection going up, because then you're building your shoulders, right? Battle ropes, when we're throwing the ropes down, you want to start to feel, and mind to muscle connection is built with time, because when we jump instead, we have to start with doing the movements, and then we notice the next day, if we jump into another workout, which we want you to, and go at an easier pace if you're feeling sore. But if you're feeling sore, hey, what moves was I? So this is what could happen. Today you do a 15-minute workout. Tomorrow you go and you do that same workout and you're doing the battle ropes. Let's say that's one of the moves, and your arms are fatigued. Your arms are tired. You feel that mind to muscle connection because your muscles are fatigued. When you're doing the battle ropes the second day in a row, you have mind to muscle connection because there's fatigue in that muscle. So now you are making connection with your mind to your muscles, which is what will actually progress you with your mind to muscle connection journey faster. But I get that you'll need to take rest. If you do it the third day in the row and now you're starting to get fatigued, we need a day off, but then we need to get back to it the next day. And so one way to progress through your jumping journey could be to do the same workout all the time, or to do our trophy body training programs where you're doing the same set of workouts every week, or to jump into our membership and just to keep learning and keep growing and know that each workout is going to make some muscles sore, and then the next workout's going to make a set of muscles sore, and the next workout, and you're just going to keep working through the different workouts and navigating and letting your body just adapt and adjust. Because it's amazing how if some muscles are sore from a workout and the next day you do a different workout, you actually could find a lot of energy in that second day's workout because we're working new muscles, which is an advantage to doing different workouts weekly, which is why we love you to be in our membership workouts, and we love you to do our daily workouts on iJumpInstead YouTube for free. So there are different avenues that you can go down. If you think to yourself, I need to do the same workout every single day so that I can really build the mind to muscle connection with that specific workout, and then you can, once you have made your mind to muscle connection with the muscles that we work in that one routine, and you do it for a week or two, switch to a new routine. That could be your direction. Doing our workouts, different workout every day could be your direction. Repeating old workouts could be your direction. But what was the point I was making with all of this?
Core connection.
Core connection, yeah. So know that if you want to build thank you. I love my little tangents that I go off on, but if you want to build full body, do you have back of deltoid connection, right? It takes just as much work to build a core connection as it does to build the back of your deltoid, your real rear delt connection. So don't think that your core is harder. They're all equal. You have to put time under tension, jumping instead, to build that mind to muscle connection. And it all comes with consistency and with a love for the sport.
So, any tips to tighten the abs would also just be tighten the abs more. So not harder. Don't tighten the abs or flex the abs harder, but firm up those core muscles when you jump and do it more often. Put a piece of paper up on the wall that says flex or tighten abs and put it right in front of your rebounder.
Yeah.
And then throughout the whole routine, every routine, you are tightening your abs more, tighter abs.
You're right. I did digress. and not answer the question. I love that. I think form it will help you to do that too. She's saying to flex internally and to tighten them. I say just put a little lengthening in your body.
Don't make them soft and lengthen. You want to make them firm.
You can't lengthen and soften.
Yeah.
Two don't go
That's
hand
true.
in hand. If you put lengthening, there's a flex that happens in lengthening. So if you stand with poise and you follow our workouts and we tell you to stay in that resistance form where you're just staying in the center of your rebounder and working around the center, you should be good.
So Kara says, newbie here, it is harder to jump on the Cellerciser. Is it harder to jump on the Cellerciser versus a bungee? Love you too. Yes.
Our Aunt Gail would say yes, that the Cellerciser is harder feeling to jump on. And
we want to talk about that, and we're gonna let's just brief over it because we should talk food.
It's more resistance, and so it could take more adapting. We have another person in our life that doesn't like jumping on the Cellerciser, but he possibly is not willing to jump lower. And it's because when we jump on a rebounder, we want the freedom to jump a little bit higher, and to jump too low could possibly take all the fun out of it. So if that's you, or maybe you don't have the Cellerciser yet and you're just wondering which rebounder to get, know that if you're willing to be patient and you're willing to adapt, work your way up on the Cellerciser, you might need to start lower at first, but then you're going to be working up to a normal bouncing pace. But if you're coming in with back issues and you're unsure, you might just go ahead and go with a bungee rebounder and work your way up with bungee, and then eventually switch over to a Cellerciser. But the truth is that we have 7,000 members in our Facebook group, and we've had many, many women come in and give their experience with starting on a bungee, switching to the Cellerciser, starting on the Cellerciser, adding a bungee to the family. What are the differences? How do we feel? And there is no one size fits all, but a lot of people say the Cellerciser is the full meal deal. But some people do say they just love their bungee rebounder. End of story. No questions asked. And unfortunately, they don't have rebounders at Dick's Sporting Goods or any sporting goods stores to try them out. So we have to have that leap of faith. And so
the Cellerciser will provide more resistance, and it can make the moves more intense for the muscles and the joints and the tendons and the ligaments. So in that case, you could call it's a harder workout because your body is going to respond to a more intense landing, and it's going to, a more intense tug. When I land into a bungee unit, there's virtually no tug. When I land into the Cellerciser, there's tug, and it's a G-force, and it's supported by the high quality springs of a Cellerciser, so that it tugs you just right and not too much. It's the perfect tug. But definitely consider your options with a different high quality rebounder. And then another question, Jissy's question. I love this question.
Have you girls ever tried wearing a continuous glucose monitor to check your glucose spikes?
I think that we would.
The answer is no, but I'll tell you, I know when my glucose goes up. I know when it goes up to a good range, and I know when it goes up to too high of a range. I feel it. I know when it goes up because I'm feeling good, and my energy is on point, and I am feeling really good. I know when it goes above that because I start to get on edge. And then when it drops, I absolutely know it, because when we get hungry, ideally the human body, when it gets hungry, it would have reserve in stored glucose in the muscles. So there would be a window when our stomach would go grumble, grumble, and we would have time to get to food and eat. But when we're actually having a glucose drop and we don't have reserves in the muscles, no stored glucose or stored glycogen, then the blood sugar drops. And that's when crankies and scaries happen, where we get moody and don't feel good and energized, and we're low and moody. So we really want to figure out how to stabilize glucose, and watching it could be a wonderful way to do it, so that you don't have to do trial and error.
Let's just say an experiment like that is on order, or it's going to be in the future. Let's talk about our menu real quick, just to dial it in. I think we average 5 to 6, maybe 7 meals in the day each. We are focusing on the cereal, the cream of wheats, the corn grits, potatoes, and pasta, and ramen noodles, and then sugar and salt to taste. This is just what we're eating right now. We talked about what we ate to get all the weight off, and how we've transitioned even just in the last 4 weeks or so from the menu we've been eating for several years to what we're eating now. And we have sugar and salt to taste. And we just have meals. We kind of lay them out in a way that we feel is intuitive. Like we've tried and explored eating some garbanzo beans to start, like maybe a half a cup or a third of a cup of our garbanzo beans when we wake up, and literally have that with our coffee. We've experimented with
Say
that.
a half a cup?
Up to maybe a third of a cup, I said. And then sprinkle some sugar.
Like a quarter of a cup.
I have more salt and sugar on garbanzo beans, and a little bit warm.
Wait. We need to slow down. Is this what you ate yesterday, or is this what you ate today? Because we've explored that. We've been Fit Models for 5 weeks now, and I feel like I've only had that exact meal for like a week, but out of the 5 weeks, that was only for one of the 5 weeks. So just to put a
True.
disclaimer up, what are you eating now? Do you want to talk
Today,
about how it's
I had
evolved?
beans.
Okay,
I had
so you had
beans
some
first.
beans. Why don't you talk about what you ate today, and then
Okay.
I'll say what I ate today.
Okay.
And then next time we check in with
Yeah.
our next Fit Model podcast, we'll talk about what we're eating what we ate that day.
Okay, well, I'll just say frosted mini wheats or beans right now are my top two, my go-to for my very first meal. And then my second meal, my top two was bread, slices of bread with some sugar paste on top, because she made some nice sugar paste. Or I'll have cereal or cream of wheat. I don't really. Okay, so today beans, and then I had cream of wheat, and then I had post-workout. Goodness, I didn't have cream of wheat. I'm sorry. I had beans, and then I had frosted flakes, and then I had cream of wheat, and then I had ramen. No, I had
There's so
frosted
many
mini
days.
wheats. I
You've been a
change it
Fit
up every
Model
single
for
day.
35 days, 7 days times 5 weeks is 35 days of eating 5 meals a day, which is a lot of meals.
No,
I can
7,
understand
6,
why you're
7 meals a
forgetting what
day.
you ate, and we eat the same foods every single day,
Yeah.
basically.
I had beans, and then I had frosted flakes, and then I had cream of wheat, and then I had frosted mini wheats, and then I had ramen with spinach. Spinach, sugar and salt to taste. That's what I've eaten today.
Okay, what have I eaten today? Well, I think that what's more important, which I think is a juicier answer, is what I like to do is have meals that are right around 300 to 400 calories all day long. And so I'll have a bowl of Frosted Flakes, or I'll have a bowl of Frosted Mini Wheats, or I'll have a bowl of cream of wheat, or a bowl of corn grits, or ramen. Ramens are 200 calories each, so that range 200 and 400. I also have white potatoes and sweet potatoes and regular rice. We'll have these microwave rices that are 300 calories. So basically what I have is like a menu of 8 things to choose from, and they range from 200 to 400 calories. And of course, if I pour more cereal into a bowl or cook more potatoes, I could be up to 500 calories. Yesterday, I had a 600 calorie bowl of pasta. Now, I'm very in tune with my needs. So I just go with what sounds good and what amount of calories / volume can I stomach right now. And so I like to just think about having a connection with it in the sense of what sounds good for me. And then the portion is poured at the time, and it's usually within the 200 to 400 calorie range. And it's because we're on our rebounders sometimes often through the day. And also we've also are exploring, what foods we're eating, the starches that we're choosing, and, navigating stage weight and weight loss when we've been at a set point for years. And so getting the scale to move down definitely takes some strategy. And with that, some
Without
days
increasing vegetables being the
Right.
strategy. It's not, it's increasing starch.
Right. And so there are times when we don't eat enough, and then you know what happens. Late night bowls of cereal right before bed. And then the next day, when I have a couple bowls of cereal before bed, I don't wake up with an appetite. And so I have to now navigate this next day, figuring out how to get my calories in. And so I'm not on a cycle now of eating late every single night. So this is the learning curve and that we're navigating. So if I am behind in calories, that's when I might know, okay, I need to push 500 calories, even up to 600 is what I did yesterday. And so with that being said, this is something that's just like learning the language of jumping. It's learning the language of starches and our favorite starches and quantities when it comes to mealtime. We've had success being on a heavy bread diet at one point because we were getting to know the amount of slices of bread that we could consume typically in a meal, 2 to 3.
And spread.
And we were putting a little bit of spread on it, a little country crock plant butter. Now I know, I see it, the comments that come in and say, country crock is awful and the foods you're recommending are awful. And I just want to say as a disclaimer that we started off eating more whole foods, but we have become so incredibly fit that it's not easy to meet our calorie needs by consuming these very whole foods because they're so low in calorie density that we have to have these higher calorie density forms of starch and carbohydrates in order to meet our calorie needs. And this is just being a fit athlete. And so any athlete can choose what they want to eat. And I know that, our choices for food and our fitness is the way that we like to do it. And somebody else is going to come in and have their opinion on what we're eating, but what are they doing? How much caffeine are they consuming? Are they having pre-workout? Are they going out and eating fried food ever? Or is this person that's having their opinion on our food, are they eating absolutely perfectly? What is perfect? Are they socializing? Are they having alcohol? I just want to know that at some point we have to look at the bigger picture and say, are we sleeping well? Are our hormones healthy? Is our skin healthy? Are we energized? Are we running our business? Are we, excelling in this new fit model journey? And so far so good. And I'll say right now too, and I said it in a previous video, our skin is a big tell on how healthy we are. And our skin is extremely healthy because we have no dry spots on our bodies. We have no bumps and sore spots on our body. It's very rare to get an ingrown fingernail or toenail. And we don't have any sort of plantar fasciitis or fascia issues or
bruise easily.
We just have good overall health, teeth health, hair, nails, and digestion health. We literally brag about our bowel movements because they're so beautiful.
And we do drink
daily.
Coffee. We do drink coffee each morning. I probably have about 4 ounces of black coffee
I have
in
about
the morning.
8.
And we do have alcohol on occasion, maybe weekly or twice a month. And we probably have 2 drinks at the time, maybe 3 if we're really feeling frisky. But we're in fit model mode, so things are a little evolved. And we have so much more to say and talk about. We are going to wrap this video up right now, and we are going to get to questions in the comments. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And we are putting this video in a playlist. And so there are other What I Eat in a Days and lots of information, podcasts and tutorials and things in this playlist. So definitely check that out. And we're going to be back here as soon as we can to drop another fit model update and chit chat. And we're going to talk about what we're eating and getting ready for the stage. And it's been really, really great having you guys here to watching us for this. If you're here all the way to the end of the video, amazing job. Thank you for being here. Please give us a like if you like this video.
Thank you so much.
Like we said, comment below if you're interested in jumping. visit our website at JumpInstead.com. It's got a video up at the top that explains more about the rebounders we recommend. And it also, we have a beginner's guide as well. And the beginner's guide will guide you also to the next step after the beginner's guide. The YouTube has tabs. It has the home tab, about tab, it has the playlist tab, the shorts tab, the videos tab, the membership tab, all those tabs, right? Like I talked about, this is in the playlist tab. This will be in a playlist. And check out our videos tab and our live tab for all the free routines. Yeah. And so you can find all the information at iJumpInstead.com and here on YouTube. Our personal Instagram accounts at Trophy Sally and at Trophy Steffi, Phie is how I spell my name. We're up in those stories to sharing content and sharing fit model posing and things like that. So we're trying to be as present there as possible. Also, our I Jump Instead Instagram account is there for you if you want inspiration with jumping. And our Facebook group is available. It's not a diet Facebook group, so don't come in or please try not to talk about food in our I Jump Instead Facebook group. Just leave our Instagram accounts strictly for your food questions because we don't want to mix the two too much in our I Jump Instead Facebook group. Okay. Is there anything else?
I'm excited to get to the next podcast. Of course, I want to respond to all the comments. And someone quickly mentioned that our diet is similar to the way that her grandmother ate. Thank you, Serena Beach.
I love that.
Grandmas know best.
They do.
They've eaten porridge.
Yes, porridge is for the strong, for the rich, for the
and sugar,
the healthy, and for the long living and exceptional. It's for the exceptional.
Potatoes are a huge part of our diet. They are a vegetable. So if you want to eat more vegetables, eat more potatoes.
Yes, and porridge.
And porridge.
Thank you again for being here.
And drink
everyone.
water. Watch your pee.
Water.
Drink water. Stay hydrated. Lots of love to all of you. Happy jumping. If you do get a Cellerciser from our link below, you can use code iJumpInstead for a discount. If you get a JumpSport, you can use code iJumpInstead for a discount. That's our favorite bungee rebounder. And then if you want an introductory rebounder, the BCAN we talked about before, where you can still get good results on the BCAN and get your feet wet, get your feet jumping, then you can use the links below. And so they will take you right to the 40-inch and the 48-inch BCAN. We recommend the 40-inch just to be real. And so check those out below. And then our workouts are all provided for you here on this channel. So all you have to do, there is a beginner's guide. Did you mention the beginner's guide? Yeah. So you can start with that beginner's guide so that you really do take adapting to jumping seriously. It's just like adapting to any new diet. You have to start with one word at a time, learning a new language, one word at a time, which means 1 2-minute bounce session at a time. Work your way up to the 10-minute workouts and then jump into our free workouts on iJumpInstead YouTube. The trophy body will be coming to stay and to play, and you're going to have the best health and the best life that you could possibly imagine because you're going to be hooked and you're going to be jumping instead for the rest of your life. Guaranteed.
If you are interested too in switching over to a starch-based menu, a great resource is the Starch Solution by Dr. John McDougall. He also has a book called The McDougall Program for Maximum Weight Loss. These books are both on Amazon, and they are the books that we learned all of our information from and just the bottom line when it comes to focusing on starches. But we forego the omission of oil and vegan or of animal products, meaning we allow a little oil, we allow a little animal products because we want, and refined starches because we want to make the diet be our lifelong forever menu. And so just having these little things doesn't ruin the health. It keeps us on starch-based. And so definitely check out those resources. We could link those in the comments section below.
Yeah, there's actually a audio book called the McDougall Program for Maximum Weight Loss.
Yes. The audiobook versions are an excellent
And there's
option.
one line in that book, in that audio book, where McDougall says, if you want to lose weight, 50-50, meaning 50% starch, 50% vegetables, is a hasty way to do it. Just listen to that for that line if you listen to that audiobook. And then he says, if you want a more sustainable weight loss, then you want to be pushing more 70 to 90% starch is in your diet, and then 10% to 30% vegetables. 50-50 is for extreme cases. It's for people that are potentially 200 pounds overweight that really need to take their, their health into an extreme direction of going 50-50. But really, if we're not that much overweight and we really do want to be building fitness, we should be eating no more than 30% of our plate or of our, calories of vegetables, and maybe starting to push up to 20% of our plate or even 10% of our plate of vegetables, or potentially replacing all vegetables with potato so that we can meet our calorie needs, not ever undereat, and then be a jumping jump star, trophy body.
Yes. And she said about transitioning to jumping, take a moment and transition to starches as well.
Yes.
Take your month and transition and just be patient. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the journey. Lots of love.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.